I'm not talking about what happened. I already conceded it should have happened legally.
This is the point. These people who lived in Bristol weren't asked.
You're weaseling right now.
It was taken. No, it's not weasel. It's a
You're
straightforward
weaseling
answer,
so
right?
badly right now. I'm not asking you about what happened. I'm not asking about the practicality of it. I'm asking you, principally speaking, is it ever okay for a statue to be taken down?
I'd leave them all up, right? As a testament to history. That's what I'd do. All of them.
Okay. Then you just have a fundamental misunderstanding of why statues are put there in the first place. And I think that also it's a little bit of I hate to use the word privileged, but it's a bit of a privileged position to be able to walk by a statue and be like, okay, this guy did some fucked up stuff and move on. It would be a hell of a lot different if you were a black person, because I'm explaining, if you were a black person walking past a statue that was put up to honor somebody and you say, damn, it's because this guy captured my ancestors and brought them here and sold them like cattle. That's why I'm even in this country nowadays, and they have a statue honoring this person.
What is privilege? I mean, bearing in mind, me, myself, you want to talk about LGBT and other stuff like that. Well, hang on, Black Lives Matter.
I just gave you some examples of stuff that you said we have a lot of disagreements.
Right, I live near Bristol. Now, Bristol was where Black Lives Matter, the statue was dragged into the docks. Do you remember that? Do you remember there was a big problem in the UK and they dragged a statue into the docks?
Was it a statue of Lee? Robert E. Lee?
No. No, we don't have that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that makes sense. That's the only one I've heard of, though.
No, the guy was allegedly connected to the slave trade, if you went back far enough. But he's also a man that gave a lot of money to good social things, built hospitals, that kind of stuff.
Was it Edward Colston? Someone in chat said that was
that man himself. Your people are working fast. Yes, it was Colston. Now, at the time, we had Colston Hall, and there was the Colston statue. Mm-hmm. And they said that he'd been involved in slavery, so that was it. So what they did was
he was a specific slave trader, it seems.
It seems that there were many in the UK, America, Dutch, Germany, France, Spain, and just about everywhere else that were doing it at the same time. So there it is. And let's not forget, some of the biggest slave traders in the world were Arabs and black people.
Well, yeah, of course, but I feel like a lot of people say that, and it doesn't really disprove anything. Like, yeah,
no, it doesn't.
Well, hold on, a lot of people did slavery, and it was bad across the board, whether they're black or white doing it. It's bad.
Do you realize that when England decided that slavery was bad and it decided to free the slaves, that it took 40-something% of our GDP to free those slaves, and we've been paying it back until literally only a few years back. So there's many of the people that are against slavery now in the UK that have paid into the reparations and the freedom of those slaves, if you want to look at it that way. Yeah,
that's what sucks, though, about building your economy on the backs of slaves, is there's going to be a deficit there.
Do you know what? I wish we'd never gone to these countries.
Really?
Only for the fact that we couldn't have been accused of anything, and every other person was going there anyway, so at least they would have done everything, and we wouldn't have had anything to do with it. However, I
have to disagree with you here. I think that his statue being torn down, it seems very, very justified. This isn't just like, here's somebody that did a bunch of good stuff, and he did have a slave because it was commonplace for the time, so let's topple the statue. He became involved in the slave trade as a senior executive of the Royal African Company, which held a monopoly on the English trade in African slaves. He was a deputy governor of the company. Yeah, so he was like a massive slave trader.
It wasn't the taking down, it was the way it was done. Illegally. The way they went up to, say, for instance, Churchill's statue and graffitied that, right?
So if they had taken it down gently and nicely,
just do it legally.
So you would be okay with them taking the statue down had it been done legally?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay, so you're not like defending the statue or defending the guy?
We're in a democratic, allegedly, country. You want to do things, you do it through the democratic means, and if all of you decide, or at least the bigger proportion decide, then yeah, of course. I can't argue with that. That's the democratic process. But these people over here, BLM, have decided they're going to do things differently.
I mean, toppling a statue is, all things considered, not that big of a deal. I can understand your perspective.
Actually, because where does it end?
Wait, it doesn't. What do you mean? Where does it end? It would
Well, no,
probably
if you
end
get
anytime
away
you're
with
trying to
one
hurt
thing-
people or
No,
burn
no,
down
if you
like
get-
private
if you-
businesses. Was it? Wait,
If
was
you
the
get
statue
away
on?
with one thing, you'll get on with the next thing and the
Wait,
next
was
thing
the
and the next
statue
thing.
on
You embarrass
public
people.
land? Was the statue on public land like funded by tax dollars?
Well, it was right in the center of the docks. Yeah, that's why they dragged it off.
Okay,
and
so they
threw it in the
weren't
docks.
even. So they weren't fucking up private property. I don't.
No,
Yeah, I don't actually see
they-
much of a problem with this. Like, yeah, I wouldn't tell anybody to go
Right,
out
think-
and do
think
it. I
about
would
what you're
say
saying
follow
here.
the.
This
Well, no,
is
I would. Hold on, wait,
criminality.
wait. I would say follow the law. However,
Right. So
if
they
we're
wouldn't
going
have
to
done
look
it
at this
then.
in if we're going to look at this in hindsight and say it's already happened. So
No. Hindsight's no good. Let's do it in the law.
well,
They broke the law. Then they threw it into the docks and made a danger to shipping. They also polluted the water. I mean, there's so many things you could have said here, but they could have done it legally, and I think they would have done a lot better if they did.
okay. I mean, yeah, it's just it seems as though. I guess
No,
if you're not
idealism
well, hold on.
is
If you're not
great.
arguing in favor of the statue, if you're not arguing
No,
that the statue should
what I'm
stay
saying
up,
is I don't like the tactics that they use, right? I don't. I wish they would do things through a better way, and people would have a lot more. When they went out protesting in London and started launching stuff over the gates of, say, for instance, Downing Street and beating up police, nobody bats an eyelid. When they were doing all sorts of criminality in Great Britain, including smashing places up, looting and stuff like that, people went, oh, well, they're frustrated. No, do it through the legal means.
I mean,
But they
we would
didn't
have
want to
to
go
look
through
at
the
that.
legal means.
Well, hold on. There's multiple problems here. So why were they smashing up private property? I'm not familiar with what's
Because
going
they
on
were
in the
breaking
UK.
the law.
No. Okay, yes,
no.
obviously it was breaking the law, but why were they doing
Yeah.
it in the first place? Was it because of police brutality?
Not like that over here, mate. No.
Okay.
Seriously.
So
it
let's
isn't
let's
like
just
that
step back
over
for a
here.
second because this sounds very similar to what I hear American arguments be as far as like, oh, nobody cared when there was rioting and looting, even though you can look and see that a fuck ton of people were actually arrested and faced consequences for their involvement in that illegal activity. But I want to take a step back because I'm not as familiar with that. Let's say it's 50-50, okay? 50% say let's
I
hold
can
on,
give you an
wait.
example.
If I'm giving you an example of 50% of people want the statue taken down and 50% of people want the statue to stay up. You're the deciding vote. What do you choose?
We'll have to look. I can't say yes or no because at the moment it's a 50-50.
And you're the deciding
point,
vote. What would you want personally, principally, morally? What would be your position?
No, I'm going to have to stand back because I want it to stay anyway, right? I wanted it to stay in the first place, so I'm not morally capable now to make that choice.
Wait, so you
somebody
wanted it to
with
stay.
a more delicate sense of frame of mind and somebody who understands the people around that area more has to make the decision. Because I
think
don't
that
live
hold
there.
on. I think that we're really getting confused here because first you said you don't care if the statue comes down as long as it's done so legally. Now I'm giving
exactly.
you
And
an
if
so
you're
now
saying
but
it's
now
a
hold on wait
50-50,
and now it's 50-50. You're the final deciding vote. You're the now it sounds like
well,
you
I can't be if it's 50-50, can I?
It sounds like you just said that you would want
No,
the
no,
statue
no, no.
to
You
stay.
said it's 50-50. I can't say yes or no because it's 50-50. It has to go to a different way of voting now at this point, doesn't it?
Okay, you realize what I'm trying to give you, though. I'm trying to give you a
No,
hypothetical.
I understand
I'm
what you're
giving you a
trying to
hypothetical to
do.
try to understand what your actual position is. Because backing
I'd
up
like
and saying
it to
like,
stay
I'd
up
like,
no matter what anyway, right? But
Okay,
that's
so
my
why
feelings.
couldn't you have said
my
that?
feelings don't come into a vote, do they?
okay, but why would you want it to stay up?
Because I think it was part of Bristol's history, good or bad.
What? Yeah, but it's not like we're going to forget history. We don't need to have a statue honoring someone.
Well, it seems that
who was-
over the time we are forgetting history, and I think these things, good and bad, need to be kept up.
Wait,
so you could walk around and go, "That's one of the
no,
bad
no,
people."
stop, please, because you're not making any sense right now. We don't need to have
I am.
we don't need to have statues of Adolf Hitler up to remember Hitler. We don't need to have statues
would
of
you-
Nazis up to remember the Nazis. If somebody erected a statue of a man who was the top executive of the African slave trade,
Well, no,
then-
what you're actually saying is now the only statues we're allowed up is the ones that feel good.
no,
That's
I'm
wrong.
not. No, I'm not.
Well,
That's
well,
not what
no,
I'm saying at all.
But I'm
Hold
afraid.
on. I'm not. Wait.
if there
I'm
was
not
a-
over here
no,
arguing.
If there was a statue of Adolf Hitler, you'd want him pulled down, wouldn't you?
Yes. But I'm not up
Okay.
here advocating to have the statue of George Washington pulled down because he owned slaves. It's
Right,
primarily.
I don't like Adolf Hitler, to clear this one up, right? But if he had stood there for 70, 100, 150 years, right, I wouldn't feel like I could come along saying, that offends me, I want it pulled down.
It would hold on. It would matter. Not. It's not just that it offends me. It's that what is this person primarily known for, And why was the statue erected in the first place? So, for example,
he's known
I'm not
for the
saying,
worst possible acts of attrition against
okay, so if he's
Jewish
known
people,
for
and
being a slave trader, and then they have a fucking statue of him up there, and it's known, oh, there's the guy who is really popular for trading slaves, then yeah, you should probably take that statue down.
well,
Just
he wasn't
like,
really actually a popular for trading slaves. He was actually really popular for making lots of hospitals around the area and spending a lot of good money on making people's lives better. Actually, that's what he's known for.
well, in the process of him
This-
making a
this
lot
is
of
the
lives
thing.
better, he was also
Over
making a lot of
here-
lives way worse
Yeah.
by enslaving
I
them and
can't
selling
argue.
them.
I can't, because I wasn't even around at that time, but I have to say that the impact that he had on the local economy, the impact that he had on people's lives around there was a massive bonus. And nobody at that time cared about people in lower classes, let alone colored people, which is terrible, right? However,
hold on.
I believe that if you get rid of him, you also do away with the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Okay, so Colston supported and endowed schools and other public institutions in London and elsewhere. His name was widely commemorated.
What
With
about the
growing
hospitals
awareness
as well?
Okay, with growing
People
awareness.
didn't have access to hospitals at that point. That's
Hold on.
important.
Okay, I'm getting to something else here.
Okay.
With growing awareness in the late 20th century of his involvement in Britain's slave trade, there were protests and petitions for name changes, culminating in June 2020 when the statue was toppled. So it sounds like it's been going on for quite a while. Once
But it's also been
slavery
going on
was
just-
obviously seen as a bad thing, and then people were more aware of Britain's involvement in the slave trade, suddenly this guy's sticking out like a sore thumb. He was a major slave merchant. So why would we want to keep a statue up from him?
Do you remember my point about saying, where does it start, where does it end? There's a local company near to me. I live in a little village in the middle of the southwest, right? And just near me is this local brewery, which is getting bigger and bigger. It's worth multi-millions now. However, the guy who started it has joined an organization which would have been like, not like the Masons, but something similar, right? But because of their involvement with something that had something to do with Colston, right? Go back 200 years ago, the people now want to ruin their company. All they did was join a movement, probably not knowing anything about it, right? And it was a business movement.
Don't care. I don't care.
But what I'm saying is, this is where it ends. They will go after them, and they will go after the next.
Okay,
and the next, and the
anything could
next.
be taken too far. Hold on, you can make this same argument for virtually anything. Oh, we're gonna free the slaves? Well, what's next? Suddenly, we're gonna have to give them positions of power, so they're ruling over us like dictators. We can do this all fucking
Did
day.
I say that?
I didn't
say that?
No, I
No,
didn't
I
say
didn't.
you said that. I'm giving you an
Okay.
example of how we could say
Yeah.
we
What
could
I'm
take
saying
any
is
good
when you-
position. Stop.
When
We
you,
could ta-
when you
stop,
go after
shh.
bad
Wait,
people, you
please,
keep
let-
going.
Hey, we could take any good position and then extrapolate it to its most extreme outcome and then scare ourselves into not doing the right thing. That's possible.
So-
People trying to take that business down for him being kind of related to this guy, yes, that's stupid. That's pathetic. But that's also aside the point from whether or not it is the right thing to do to take the statue down. You're saying it should stay up because we need to
I'm saying
remember
it's
our
part
history.
of our heritage. Leave it. That's what
No,
I'm
it's
saying.
but why would you want that to be remembered as part of your heritage? I'm not saying you have to
Because I
forget
remember,
it.
No, this is the thing. I don't want it all sugar coated. Our heritage has good and bad. Remember all of it. Because if you don't remember the bad parts,
Yes,
you
I know.
could repeat it.
You could repeat it. I know. I'm not saying you forget it. I'm saying you don't need a statue
people
worshiping a
do.
guy for it.
No, well, nobody's worshipping him.
The statue erected to honor him, yes, that's kind of like worshiping him, I would say.
Right, that's when it started. But to be honest, most people walk past and then they read the plaque and go, who was he? What was he known for? That's how it works these days. It's not like it
I
used
don't
to be
understand why you
150
would
years
want.
ago.
Okay, if the solution is A, keep the statue up, or B, legally take it down and preserve it in a museum, why would you want the statue left up?
Did I say that? I said B, if that's what they want, legally take it down.
No, I said, but
I'd rather keep it up, right?
that's what I'm
But
asking
if the
you.
people, no, I would rather keep our history up, good, bad, and ugly. I want our fuck ups to be reminded.
And we can remember them in history books by going to museums. You don't need to go out and see public land that your tax dollars are paying, erecting a statue of a known slave trader.
But here's a talking point.
What?
When you walk around the docks of Bristol, as it is, you see all these different people, good, bad, and indifferent. And literally on the way around, you can make your way around and go, he was a good guy, he was a bad guy, they were terrible, whatever. And it's a complete experience. I wouldn't want them all to be statues of great people because you'll get a false history.
Okay, no, this is the big misunderstanding. Nobody is getting their history of anything from just statues. If that's the way in which
I get that.
So if that's the way in which you're getting your history, then you're already
what
lost.
I'm saying is when you walk around, have a look. That's it. I don't want, and that's just a part. And just saying that's it and that's all I think. No, that is a part of history.
So why would you not want the part of history that you're honoring and paying tax dollars for to be something good? Why won't you?
Right.
You'd want to honor something good as far as what your tax dollars are paying for when it comes to statues.
That lot was paid for. Right, and literally the upkeep is next to pennies. All right. So
wait, is it funded with? It doesn't matter. It's about the principle. If it's being paid by tax dollars, even if it's fucking pennies, then I don't want.
I wouldn't want to keep it up. Well, we've already established this. I want to keep it up.
Yes, but you're not giving a good reason as to why. You said people might.
No.
You said people might. No, you didn't. You said people might.
Part of my history.
Why do you want something worshiping that part of your history? You're not going to forget it. You're not going to forget your history by taking it down.
Right. So you come at it from a different angle than I do. That's simple as that.
But your angle doesn't make sense.
Good, bad, and different. No, because it doesn't make sense to you. That's all, right?
No, it doesn't make sense at all. You're not able to substantiate it.
Right. You're not letting me finish. Good, bad, and indifferent. I believe that statues should be left up whether you like them or don't like them. And you could look at them and you could say, I didn't like that guy for this reason. I like that person for that reason, right? Do you realize that after they toppled the statue, they actually put a statue up of a black right activist there for a short time? Do you know that?
Cool. Yeah, I don't know why
anyway, it didn't last long because it was illegal, but there you are.
Okay, but we're not talking about law.
Incidentally, the black rights activist in London, the one that was making all the work, do you realize she got shot by one of her own? That's not good.
I don't know what do you mean one of her own? Like people in the movement?
One of the activists amongst her group, and they said it was a gangster that shot her, but she was in a party with friends and she got shot in the head, unfortunately, and it is unfortunate.
Is she alive? Did she die?
She's not well, and it's a shame because at the end of the day, I believe whether you dislike or like somebody's actions, I believe you should let them speak.
Okay, so I agree with that, but let's go back for a second because I think you're not understanding that statues are not put up to remember history. They are put up to honor and remember certain people for their accomplishments.
Yeah, but we're in a different time now, aren't we, from then? I mean, let's be honest.
Even if we are, it doesn't matter.
The statue, a lot of things that we don't do now.
Wait, the statue being put up originally was to honor a man who was massive when it came to slave trading. So having a statue
it honored
up,
a man that did a lot of financial support.
He also did a lot of bad, and I would argue that probably trading. I would say probably trading.
How many people do you reckon decided to put a statue up because he was a slave trader, or do you think that people actually put the statue up because he built numerous hospitals in Bristol, which saved people's lives and helped?
I don't know, but it's tough.
I can tell you now why they did.
Okay, let me ask you then a different question.
Philanthropy. You've heard about.
I don't care about any of this.
Right,
you're not getting. We're trying to talk. No. I'm trying to talk to you about the.
Because
no, I'm trying to talk. No,
this is why they put the statue up.
Stop. I'm trying to talk to you about.
I'm enjoying this, by the way. We're having fun.
I'm trying to talk to you about the root of the problem here. It's
right,
not
the root, your
even
problem,
if they originally. You know what? I'll take it. I will change what I said earlier. Then, even if it was originally put up to remember him donating to fucking hospitals or something, when it came out and became known that he was massive when it came to trading slaves and trading human beings like cattle. Then yes, I think that at that point, you probably wouldn't want someone like that.
I have to say, I don't know how.
Oh, and this is a good point. I got to give credit to my chat here, but also people are making a good point. For all the good he did, how did he make that money? It was by selling human beings.
Actually, it was through trading in fine goods.
No. They had a business. They were a sea merchant. They initially
didn't have something to do with cotton and
no. He initially was trading in wine, fruits, and textiles. But then in 1680, he became involved in the slave trade as a senior executive, which held a monopoly on the English trade in African slaves. So he did that even more so.
I'm looking at what you got written here. So hang on a second. Nope, can't see it properly. Okay,
So he was selling people, making money, and then funding hospitals. It's good that he funded hospitals, sure. However, he made his money by selling human beings. I think that that's a problem. I don't think we should have a statue up honoring someone like that. And I don't know why you want there.
Did I actually say no? It was honoring. I think that
That's
I've
what a
already made my
statue
point
is,
here.
dude.
Right. It started out as honoring, but I truly believe that nowadays, if you look around the statue of Washington, it doesn't honor him, does it?
Yes.
Well, when you look at him, do you want to pay honor to that, or do you want to just look at it and go, "That was Washington"? What about all the others? Any other statue you see? I mean, if they put up a statue, say for instance, I'm trying to put an example up here that we could use. If they put a statue up now to Trump, would it be honoring him?
Yes. Statues are usually erected to honor people. Wait, do you think that when I say a statue is erected to honor somebody, that means every single person that walks by them is like honoring and bowing down?
No, I didn't say that, did I?
No, but that seems to be what you're thinking. And no, that's not what I'm saying.
No. Remember what I'm
thinking.
You
erect a statue. Okay, you erect a statue to honor somebody and to remember them in an honorable way among society.
Actually, I think these days you put a statue up to piss people off.
Okay. So let me ask you a different question then. So you can look at charts, for example, and see that a lot of the Confederate monuments over here in America, which were very controversial.
Incidentally, I have no understanding about the Confederate stuff, so I don't want to get involved in that.
No. This is just, you don't need to have any you don't have to have any understanding. All I want to know is your position on, you can see that the Confederate statues were erected at a time when the civil rights movement was gaining traction. So when slaves were freed, they would erect statues of Confederate soldiers in order to basically say, fuck you to the free slaves. Do you think those statues should stay up?
Yes. Because they're statues that remind you of history, like it good or bad or otherwise.
Oh my God, that's not why they exist. You're pretending that statues have a different meaning and then using that to justify having a statue of literally anybody. When I look at a statue,
I read what's written at the bottom of it. That's what I do, right? I walk up to a statue not having a clue who the hell that is. Then I look at it and go, that looks old. Who is it? Read at the bottom and it tells me what they're about. Then I form my own opinion. That's how it works.
You can form your own opinion by reading about them in a history book or on Wikipedia. You don't need a statue honoring someone who traded slaves or
look at it
statues that are up and say, fuck you to free black people.
Look at it from a pro-negative, if you want to put it that way. I don't know what you want to call it, right? You didn't know about Colston and his slaves and all the rest of it, right? And you've walked around the docks and you've thought that this seems a really nice place. You've not been aware. Now, put it another way. You walked around, you've seen the statue and you went, who the f*** is that? Right, you walked over and you went, all right, that's Edwin Colston. Who is he? You looked at Wikipedia and went, hang on a minute. That bloke sold loads of black people. That's bang out of order. There are two ways of looking at stuff, all right?
No, because you're forgetting the follow-up. You're forgetting the follow-up right now, because it's not just look at it and then say, the follow-up is, oh, damn, this person sold a bunch of black people, and now we have a statue up here on public property that was put up to honor this guy.
Yes, I don't think we should be. I don't think we should be. Was back then.
I don't think we should be honoring people who sold slaves.
No, what we're doing is we're softening today's world, right, from yesterday's world. What you've just seen is just how shit the old days were. What? It's a reminder.
You can have this reminder by reading a history book.
Well, we're all different. This is
you're literally acknowledging then. I mean, you already said you would be fine with an Adolf Hitler statue.
Look. No. What I would say
is it ever okay to take a statue down?
Obviously.
Is it ever okay to take a statue down? What if there's a statue put up of like, I don't know, Stalin? Can you take the statue down then and preserve it?
They did, didn't they?
I'm not asking if they did. I'm asking your opinion and principal position here.
Look, basically, if the consensus of everybody in that area, and I mean everybody in that area, is to take it down, you live there, you take it down.
Wait.
But I'm saying
there
were, by the way...
This is the weasel answer.
Right, no, this is not the weasel answer, because the people that took down Colston was about 200 out of a city of how many?
I'm not talking about what happened. I already conceded it should have happened legally.
This is the point. These people who lived in Bristol weren't asked.
You're weaseling right now.
It was taken... No, it's not weasel. It's a straightforward answer,
You're weaseling so badly right now. I'm not asking you about what happened. I'm not asking about the practicality of it. I'm asking you, principally speaking, is it ever okay for a statue to be taken down?
I'd leave them all up, right? As a testament to history. That's what I'd do. All of them.
Okay. Then you just have a fundamental misunderstanding of why statues are put there in the first place. And I think that also it's a little bit of I hate to use the word privileged, but it's a bit of a privileged position to be able to walk by a statue and be like, okay, this guy did some fucked up stuff and move on. It would be a hell of a lot different if you were a black person, because I'm explaining, if you were a black person walking past a statue that was put up to honor somebody and you say, damn, it's because this guy captured my ancestors and brought them here and sold them like fucking cattle. That's why I'm even in this country nowadays, and they have a statue honoring this person.
What is privilege? I mean, bearing in mind, me, myself, I have not come from the best background. I have been a homeless man. I've done all these things, right? And then built myself back up. I understand a lack of privilege. I know.
I'm not saying you don't, but you do not experience. Are you white? Are you white?
No, I come from white racism, right? People are racist in Great Britain these days to white people.
Okay, that's a different subject. Are you yourself white?
So, yeah, of course.
So why are you in the country?
Because I love Great Britain.
How did you get in the country? You don't have a lineage going back demonstrating that the reason you are even in this country is because your ancestors were kidnapped and sold.
I do, actually, because I've got gypsy blood, so I came in through a gypsy lineage, so that kind of screws what you're saying.
Okay, well then, yeah, if we had a statue that was honoring somebody that went around murdering those types of people, I would assume that maybe you would be in favor of it.
Like Hitler that murdered the gypsies over in Germany.
I mean, all you're showing right now is how you're a bit inconsistent, but...
No. Hitler did murder the gypsies. I did come in through gypsy blood. I do understand about the intolerance towards. I do understand about the lack of privilege.
But do you have an understanding of also how it might feel if you were taken into a country because your ancestors were enslaved and then you pass by a statue that you yourself are funding with your tax dollars, honoring somebody that captured and sold your ancestors?
Right, exactly. How many people have been taken into this country lately? Right.
It's not about lately.
That statue. No.
This is the privilege of you being able to pass by the statue and being like, well, this was a rough time in history. Move on, bro. And not have it actually impact you the same way that it would if you had been brought there as a slave.
Right. At the end of the day, if you were brought there as a slave, you wouldn't be alive today, would you? I'm very sorry about that.
Holy shit. Now you're just being bad faith. You know what I mean.
No.
I said lineage.
Right. No, at the end of the day, people who have come into this country at the time that statue was arrived or put up aren't there today, right? And how many generations have passed since? And how many generations of different color people have benefited from America?
I don't know, and I don't care. This is
completely
aside the point. You're pivoting out of here.
No. You're making the argument now. American people, black, white, and any other color, have done better for being in America than they would have done in being any other country. I'm sorry.
So you realize what it sounds like you're saying now is that actually, although slavery was bad, it kind of was a good thing for them to be enslaved.
Oh, I do believe that is a gaslight, sir.
So what do you think? Okay, so if you're arguing that they're doing better over here, how does that not follow that you are more or less saying that they benefited from being enslaved?
No, I'm simply saying that black people that are in America now benefit better from being in America, no matter what way they found their way there.
I never said otherwise, yeah.
Right.
It's just, I feel like,
by the way, I'm enjoying this. Are you enjoying yourself?
No, I'm going to hang up in a minute.
Excellent. Right. Okay. Well, look, it was a pleasure, but I don't think we're getting anywhere. But I don't think
you're recognizing how it is different. It is a privilege. Sure, it's subtle, and it's not that significant.
There is no privilege. I don't believe in privilege.
Okay, you don't need to believe it. You're demonstrating it right now. I believe it because of this conversation. The fact you're able to walk by a statue and be like, okay, that was rough history. What tough luck, and not have that kind of emotional impact, that is a form of privilege.
You're saying I don't have empathy?
No, I'm saying that you do not personally relate to the plight of some people who were brought here because they were fucking enslaved. You are not in this country because you were enslaved or your ancestors were enslaved and brought here.
I understand what they've been through, and I have to say it was terrible, but I've accepted the fact that that's the case. But I don't want to tear down a part of my history to try and erase that part of history. I want to keep it up. No one's trying to fuck ups.
No one's trying to erase history. We just don't want something up that's honoring we just don't want something up that's honoring and glorifying and being funded by our fucking money. That was a statue honoring somebody who enslaved people. That's it.
There was a guy that used to go to Austria dressed as Adolf Hitler, and he'd give speeches out, right? Not because he liked Adolf Hitler, by the way, but because he was trying to remind the people of Austria exactly about what had gone on in the past. And do you know what Austria did? They banned him.
This is just okay.
That's a tough story.
That's sad.
but it's true,
I guess. That
because
has
at the end
nothing to
of
do
the
with what I
day-
said. You're not acknowledging that statues
Well, no,
are
I'm
originally put up as a
acknowledging
form of glorification.
our failings.
You're not
I'm acknowledging our
acknowledging
failings
that
in
it's a
history.
privilege to not have some kind of an emotional impact, knowing that you yourself are in a country because your ancestors were enslaved. You're not acknowledging any of this. You keep going back to the statue's been
privilege, mate, no.
because you keep going back to the statue was put up so that we can remember history. That's not why statues
Yeah.
exist. That's why history books exist.
What I'm saying is the statue may have been put up for any reason you like, but at the end of the day, we will use it now as a reminder of our fuck-ups.
Or
If you
it's just
tear it
being
down,
up as a
all you're just
reminder
trying
that
to
you
do-
people are worshiping or did worship previously
No,
a
I
top
don't
slave
worship.
trader. I mean, that's what it sounds like you're saying, but
No,
I'm not
that's
saying
wrong.
you
And
worship.
know
I'm
it's wrong.
saying that is
You
what
know
a
it's wrong.
statue is put up for. It is put up as a form of honor.
No, I think that we have to acknowledge our fuck-ups in history.
Okay. Well, that's great. I never said otherwise. I think you can do that without an honoring statue of a slave trader.
Well,
but you have a
no,
good rest of
I
the day. I
think when you
appreciate the
start raising
conversation.
you, mate.
I do. I appreciate the conversation.
Thanks,
We'll talk
Doris.
later.
Take care.
Holy shit. He wasn't getting it. The statue the character wishes should serve as a symbol, a reminder of where one is bound to end up, blah, blah, blah. Traditionally, though, erecting a statue is considered the highest honor that can be given to a person or the idea that the person stood for. That was actually really uncomfortable. That was a fucking train wreck conversation. Jeez.